Matthew's section, dear brothers and sisters. I'm reminded that we all take great pride being in Illinois, that we are the land of Lincoln. Right? You see that everywhere, all the license plates. I think the only reason why people still keep the penny around is only because of the state of Illinois. No one likes pennies. You need 100 of them just to get a whole dollar, right? They're really heavy, and yet for some reason, because Lincoln's face is on there, we can't get rid of it, right? Because we're in Illinois, and Illinois is so strong about that and so stubborn, we're never going to get rid of the penny. We can get rid of all the other currency, but because he's from Illinois, we're not going to get rid of it, right? So we take great pride in having this land of Lincoln. I know a lot of kids, I think, even know that when they're in the younger grades, I think they even take field trips to kind of go to Springfield, right? I believe a lot of kids do that, I think. It's a great thing of pride for us because we understand that not only is it just because no one takes such great pride in having a president from their state, but we know that historians, and if you don't know this, welcome, this is a history lesson too. A lot of historians consider Lincoln to be probably the greatest president of all time. Regardless of what other presidents may say after that, whatever they think of themselves. But what historians believe is that Lincoln was probably considered the greatest president of all time. Think about all that happened, right? He, through his endeavors and his work, he ended slavery. He got the country through the Civil War. There's a lot of things that he did, especially with everything following the Civil War, with the great forgiveness. They could have, people who rose up against the United States could have just been tried for treason, but there was this great call of forgiveness, this great call of clemency given to anyone who fought in the Civil War. So all these things is considered to be a greatest president. And if you've ever been to the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., it's a pretty remarkable thing. If you get a chance to go to D.C. and you go to the memorial, it's a very serene place. It's a nice monument that is set aside in memorial of Lincoln. Now, do you think, though, when he was in service to the country, that he thought he was going to be, one day, they're going to call me the greatest president? I don't think so either. I don't even know if he saw past his immediate office. He saw the country was tearing itself apart. He saw great chaos. He saw great division and great strife. But he didn't think, oh, don't worry, in like 100 years, they're going to say I'm the best president. He didn't tout any of his accomplishments and say, oh, I'm the best that ever was. There's a lesson for that. Here, in this gospel, which is taken from St. Matthew's Gospel 23, we're kind of taught the same thing here. A lot of these scribes and Pharisees that Jesus is warning against, they like that place of honor. He says here they like to go to the marketplaces, and they like it when people call them rabbi. They like it when people call them teacher, to give them that little respect. And I wonder if a lot of us kind of feel the same way too. We like being lifted up. We like being that little bit of that elevation there. We like when people say nice things about us. We like when people kind of feed our ego a little bit. That's really what it is, though, right? At the end of the day, all those nice things that we want people to say about us in this way, that they want people to elevate us, the same way that these Pharisees and scribes do, it's really our egos. You even see it nowadays, and I'm not very political. If anyone knows me, I'm not political. I don't get involved in politics. But just if you listen to the rhetoric that is being said now by the current administration, we all know recently at the UN, he's like, no one has accomplished as much as I have in the history of America. And what was the response by the rest of the world? You remember? Anyone saw that on TV?
Yeah.
They all laughed at him, right?
Yeah.
One of the commentaries, late night commentaries, people were like, when people say everyone in the world is laughing at you, they mean that figuratively, but this time it's actually literal. The entire world is laughing at him, right? No one takes that seriously. Anytime we start boasting about ourselves, no one's going to take that seriously. What value is that for us to boast about ourselves and say how great we are? And oftentimes we might not even say it out loud, but we definitely think it. We all think that we're the best. We know better than anybody else that we're the best. And Christ is warning us, don't think like that. The moment you start thinking like that, that's the moment that Satan has already won inside your heart. The moment you think that you're better than other people is the moment that he's already got that victory over you. And we allow him to win because we like that, getting our egos stroked. We like it when people say nice things about us. Oh, you're so smart. You look so nice today. That's a nice car. That's a nice house. Look at all that you've accomplished. And Christ is saying, don't take so much personal stock in our own personal accomplishments, in our own personal possessions, and our own titles. Don't get on committees and serve just for the sake of having a title. What use is that? Don't seek the place of honor, but rather earn honor. That's the point that Christ is even trying to make. I know a lot of people, even a lot of non-Orthodox, they point to that verse here that says, oh, don't call anybody on earth your father. Like, oh, but we have Hutchins, so we call them fathers. But if you want to follow this literally, that means you guys can't even call your own father's father. It says you don't call anyone on earth your father. That includes your own biological fathers too. If you follow that so literally. That's not what Christ meant. What Christ meant is that don't give anybody honor beyond God. Don't put anybody above God. Don't call anybody teacher above Christ. Christ is the ultimate teacher. God is the ultimate true Father. Don't put anybody above that is what Christ is telling us here in this gospel. A lot of times we kind of put ourselves above that. But what here he's saying is, be very weary of that. Because when people see our accomplishments, when people see and give us that praise, and he said it in other places before, when we do things for the sight of men, we've already gotten our reward. It says here, all their works they do to be seen by men. All the works they do to be seen by men. Not to be seen by God. Not because they want to serve God. Not because they're serving God who sees all, knows our hearts, knows our thoughts, knows all of our actions. No. They do all these things to be seen by other people, and that's sometimes where we might end up. And we have to be careful. Am I doing this so that I can get praise? Am I doing this so other people will see me? Am I doing this so that other people will be jealous of me? Am I saying this to get praise from other people? Am I doing this for anything, even the slightest reason? Am I doing this or that for any reason other than glorifying God? If I am, then I need to take a serious self-examination and really think about, what am I doing? What am I saying? What am I thinking? Remember when I talked about the monument of Lincoln? The great thing about that monument is that you walk there, and on the monument, on the walls of it, they have all these excerpts from all of his great speeches, especially the Gettysburg Address is on there, and he's such a great speaker. But again, he never thought that in 100 years or 50 years after he passes away, he never thought they were going to make this great big monument to him. He never himself was going to say, oh, people are going to call me the greatest in history. He was called to do a work during a very difficult time. And he didn't shake off that responsibility. He didn't divide the country. He saw a divided country and then worked to putting the country back together again. To the point that he worked so hard that people didn't like him that he was assassinated. But he didn't give up the work of unifying the country. So it's not up to us to say, I'm the greatest. The call here is we all have to do the work that we're called to do. Some of it is small work, some of it is great work, but we're all called to do some kind of work. Don't worry about who's the greatest and who's the best. Do other people see me? What are other people saying about me? If I'm called to do a certain work, then do that work diligently and let other people then make a decision on who's the best at that work, who's the greatest. Let other people be the ones who build the monuments for us. You see a lot of times in cemeteries, you look at those really big monuments people build. Obelisks, big structures, all these things people do because they want to be remembered for history. But what we rather should be remembered for history is the way we lived, the way we taught our children to live. Not to be selfish, but to give of ourselves. When they look at us, what is the legacy that we're going to leave for them? Are we going to leave a legacy of, well, that person wasn't all that great. He didn't love that much. He didn't give that much. He only cared about himself. He only cared about acquiring more and more wealth. They only cared about having a position but not actually working in that position. Or are they going to say that person, though he didn't have a position, he worked tirelessly. Though he wasn't very wealthy, he worked for the church. He didn't pursue great riches, but he pursued the kingdom, the riches that never spoil. What is the legacy that we're going to leave for these people that we leave behind? Are we the ones who are going to say, I'm the greatest, look at me, I'm the greatest? Or are we going to let our actions and history judge us? Let other people build as monuments for us. Monuments will come and go. We don't need to be chasing after them. We don't need to be chasing after the glory of other people. We've been called to do a task, called to live a life, live that life the best way we know how, serving God, putting nobody above God, putting nothing else above service to God. Then let all those monuments come on their own. When people see that, that legacy will be there. That legacy will last much longer than we do. But not if we pursue it selfishly. So let's think about exactly like I said, the way Lincoln was, exactly the way these saints are of our church, exactly like these holy fathers are, exactly the way Christ is teaching us right here. Not to seek after our own glory, but in all things seek after the glory of God and in service of God. All praise, glory, worship to the blessed Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and always, and forever and ever. Amen.